Greetings and welcome to another edition of the Creation Corner program, and so glad you tuned in today. We have special guests, but first we have a little bit of creation science to give you. And if you've seen the show before, we do usually start off with a bit of humor. Well, instead of the humor, we have Grandma's quotes today. And let's see if you recognize any of these. If you're ever headed the wrong way in life, remember the road to heaven allows U-turns. Okay, and there's another one. The future should be very important to you. It's where you will spend the rest of your life. Number 3, it's a wasted day if you haven't laughed. 4, of all the things you wear, your expression is the most important. 5, if you're afraid you'll make a mistake, you won't make anything. 6, if you want to leave footprints in the sands of time, wear work boots. There'll be a lot of working going on. And 7, it takes 2 people to start an argument and only 1 to end it. And the last one, be the job big or small, do it well or not at all. Grandma's quotes. That grandma was pretty smart, wasn't she? Yes, she was. Okay, now for the now we have a resource recommend. Today I'm recommending the Searching for Noah's Ark by Dr. John Morris. He is with the Creation Research Institute out of Dallas, Texas. These guys have a wonderful museum now. So you can look, icr.org is their website, and you can check them out. And if you can get to Dallas, Texas, you'll love to go see their creation museum. They call it a discovery center instead of a creation museum, but it's just a wonderful thing to see. It's new. It's only about a year old, and it is state of the art, top of the line kind of stuff. So Search for Noah's Ark, Dr. John Morris. This is actually a summary, kind of a summary of his big book on his search. He had at least 3 expeditions that I'm aware of to Mount Ararat to find the Ark. And they were very dangerous expeditions. This is extremely difficult mountain to climb with incredible hazards. And they almost died. So it's very interesting reading. $6, you can get that from me, or you can get it from icr.org. And we have here Brainwashed. Creationism. Have you been brainwashed, or has your brain been washed nice and clean? And this is by Kent Hovind. His ministry is drdino.com. A great creation teacher. Probably him and Ken Ham are the 2 most popular, best-known creation speakers in the world. So you can find him at drdino.com. I have these for $6 as well, or you can get it off the Dr. Dino website. I want to mention this here. G.K. Chesterton said, when people stop believing in God, they don't believe in anything. They don't believe in nothing. They believe in anything. That anything that we're talking about on the Creation Corner is this theory of evolution and deep time. Can you think of anything more absurd than everything came from nothing? I can't. But that's what they teach now. Everything came from nothing. Wow. Isn't that amazing? When I was a kid, we would call that crazy, nonsense, stupid. But now they call it education. Amazing how things change, huh? Well, here's a great quote that relates to that. There's nothing too absurd to be believed if it is repeated enough. The statement, everything came from nothing, is completely absurd, but they repeat it so often to the kids as a fact that it's believed. Amazing, huh? Well, let's take a quick look at the Prentice-Hall Biology book 2006 that they have at Prescott High School and see what is in here. Well, there's a lot of nonsense in here. The rest of the book is real science. It's actually teaching biology. But the 4 chapters in the evolution section unit is a story. It's a made-up story. And it's right in the middle of the book, and both sides of it has real science. So it fools the kids into thinking this is science too. No, this is a fairy tale. Because when we hear about the frog getting kissed by the prince and the frog getting kissed by the princess, and all of a sudden the frog turns into a prince, poof, there he is. We know that that's a fairy tale. But when the prince turns from a frog to a prince over millions of years, that's science? No, it's not science. It's still stupid. Okay, let's see what's in the evolution unit here in the biology book. It says, this is on page 382. And we were just reading from this page last time. It says, according to this principle, common descent principle, all species, living and extinct, were derived from common ancestors. Therefore, a single tree of life links all living things. Oh, a tree of life links it all, huh? Okay, so if we can draw a tree of life linking all the animals to one common little amoeba, that makes it true? No, it's just a drawing. That's all it is. Take away their crayons and they have nothing. There's no evidence here. Evidence for evolution, it says. Evidence for this process could be found in the fossil record. Really? Oh, this is your fossil record? Evidence? This is not evidence. I'm sorry to say, this is not evidence, folks. Just because you can show things that are similar today but not quite exactly the same that's been found in fossils, that doesn't mean that everything came from a common ancestor. That's not evidence. Why don't they show the real evidence? It's because they don't have any real evidence, that's why. They have crayons and they can draw little diagrams. That's all they have. Sad but true. But it's being presented to the kids as if it were a fact. It's not a fact, folks. It's a fairy tale. Listen, don't send your kids to public school. They will brainwash your kids into believing in nonsense. They've also rewritten history, if you haven't looked at that lately, and to make it nonsensical as well. So, if you can't homeschool them, homeschooling is the best. But if you can't do that, send them to Christian school. If you're in the Prescott area, we have an excellent Christian school here, Trinity Christian School. And Kyle Maestri, the headmaster of that school, was on my show one time. Look it up if you get a chance on the website here, Prescott E-News. Just check it out. We talk about the school and a lot of great things that they have there for us. Okay, now, we're going to have to wrap this section of the show up because I've got some really good guests that I want to get to. And, I do want to give one fact, because I always want to give at least one fact about the length of the time of the, how old is the earth and how old is the universe? Okay, so I'll give you a fact, at least one fact every show about this. Because, according to evolution theory, the earth has been around for 4.5 billion years, right? Okay. Well, we found 432 mammals in the dinosaur layers. Oh, really? Because the dinosaur layers, according to their theory, was way before mammals came around. But there's 432 mammals that we know of that's been found in the dinosaur layers. What does that do to your theory? It blows it up. Your theory's no good. When the theory doesn't work, why do you hang on to the theory? Okay? That's one of thousands of things about the theory that's wrong. That's just one. We're going to get to others, though, later on. Okay, today with me as my guests, I have Mark and Melody Weaver from the Jesus Film Project. And this is the neatest thing. I've been getting their mailings for the last couple of years, 2 or 3 years now. And I have been so amazed and impressed with the evangelical thrust of this organization and what they accomplish. It is by far, they are reaching by far more people than any other organization in evangelizing people for Christianity. And so Mark and Melody Weaver, you live in Prescott?
We do.
And for the last 14 years, right? And you tell us a little bit about your own background and how you got involved with the Jesus Film Project.
Go ahead.
Well, hey, can I make a comment that backs what you just shared with the
Please,
folks?
please do.
I was one of the brainwashed kids in public school. I got into Bible college, and a book by Dr. Henry Morris called Scientific Creationism and a list of PhDs got me on the right track.
Excellent.
So, praise God.
Excellent. Good to hear. Good to hear.
Okay, how do we get involved in the Jesus Film Project? Someone I worked with at Apple Computer actually got a job at the Jesus Film as a finance job. That's my background. She calls me one day. We got laid off, which happens in the high-tech industry. And she said, Mark, I got this job in finance. It's not my thing. This is your thing. I got a job during seminary there. And then Melody came on a couple of years later. She's been there for
28 years.
28 years, and I've been there. I came back, so I've got 16 years with the Jesus Film.
Okay. When did the Jesus Film start?
1979.
79.
It was filmed, and that was the original film. And then about 20 years later, they made a film about for the women's version and for children. So we have 3 films. In addition to that, the field has just been begging us for follow-up materials. And since we know how to translate films and lip sync, by the way, we're able to make a lot of follow-up films as well to send out to the field. And these films are being used all over the world.
Who started it?
Bill Bright had a dream that he wanted a film about the life of Jesus. And Carolyn and Bunker Hunt funded it, and then they made the film. It was all filmed over in Israel on location, and it's the most accurate film about Jesus' life. Nothing's really added. It's from the Gospel of Luke, and there's not any additional theories or of things that he might have said. It's all from the Gospel.
Why was Luke chosen rather than Matthew or Mark? John.
Now, there's a question we haven't been asked.
Well, I think that they did a lot of research and they just felt like it was, it included the most of, it was written by a doctor, so it had a lot of the detail that they wanted to have in the film. So they just decided, let's just stick with that one gospel. Now, the women's version has segments from the other gospels of how Jesus valued and honored women. And so they did take other stories from other gospels.
Okay, very good. And tell us a little bit about Bill Bright, because for those who don't know Bill Bright, what else is he known for?
Dr. Bill Bright was a businessman, and he met Jesus, who changed his life, as that's what Jesus does for many of us. And he's a man that God used to change the world. This film alone, Campus Crusade for Christ is an umbrella, if you will, under which there are 30 ministries, the Jesus Film being the largest, but Campus was the beginning. There's a family life.
Campus Crusade for Christ.
Yeah, Campus Crusade. Well, the campus ministry.
That's
military. Josh McDowell. There's 30 ministries, and we're one of them.
One of 30 ministries, and this is one of those 30. Wow, that's a huge ministry that it all started with Bill Bright.
Yes.
Amazing. Yes. And that was in 79 is when this film project started?
Yes.
Okay, and that was in English. The first one was in
Yes.
English. Are they still using the same English version?
Actually, they have improved the larger languages, and they've been redubbing them during COVID. They decided to start redubbing them because they have new music and just upgraded the film as well so that it's good quality. And so during COVID, the technicians just took their equipment home and was able to do all this redubbing and upgrading the film. So it's now in 1,915 languages.
1,915.
Yes.
Today.
Wow.
And counting.
That's amazing. And you're still adding on to that
Yes.
all the
Yes.
time,
Yes, we are.
right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
So we have about 300 more languages of 50,000 speakers and above.
People groups.
Yeah, people groups. And at that point, it will be 98% of the world's population, or 97.
Actually, the recent stats is 97% of the world's population this will be available to in 2026.
Wow.
So
That's phenomenal.
We can see the finish line.
So we're
Yes,
also doing
yes.
single voice narrations for the smaller people groups.
Okay.
And so we can do it quicker and cheaper. And you know what? People out in the jungles that have never seen a film before, they're fine with that. You know,
Yes.
the smaller people groups.
Oh,
They've
no
never
doubt.
seen a film,
Yes, no
you
doubt.
know.
Yeah. That's amazing. And how are you finding all these people to translate for you?
We use nationals. We take a recording studio and a suitcase over to the field, and we put up mattresses in these little huts, and they have sophisticated recording machines that we can get the lip sync perfectly timed. And sometimes they have to stretch the film a little so that the lips will move at the right time with other languages, but they've really perfected it. And it's so well done that you think it was originally in that language.
We call them voice actors.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Okay.
24 voice
Yes.
actors.
And what's most amazing about the Jesus Film Project is the results. Tell us about some of the results from this film project.
Today we have over 1,800 organizational partners. Names you'd recognize like Wycliffe and Baptists and Nazarenes and Assemblies of God. They all have hundreds of teams. We give them a backpack, which over 3 years exposes 30,000 to the gospel and plants between 30 and 100 churches. Those organizational partners help us plant over 800 churches a day worldwide.
800 churches a day worldwide,
Yes.
which is unbelievable. I mean, that's just amazing. There's no other organization in the world that can say anything close to that.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
In addition to our partners, which it's a win-win because the Nazarene says, before we had the Jesus film, it was like fishing with a hook and line. But now that we have the Jesus film, it's like fishing with dynamite. And their churches has grown so fast that they have had to just send discipleship, change their whole format of discipleship. And we are very into discipleship, by the way. It's evangelistic film. We use these partners who are boots on the ground, and they're doing follow-up, and they're starting churches. So it's not like we just show the film and go on to the next village. But we also have 2,500 of our own teams that we fund and finance so that they can plant churches as well, and they're trained church planters.
2,500 teams that do that from the Jesus Film Project. Okay, and how do they do follow-up after they've started a church?
That's the number one question we're asked
Yes,
when we're
it
on
is.
the road. And we have, we have the follow-up film series for Magdalena for women is Rivka, thank you. We have Walking with Jesus for Africa, Following Jesus for India. So these are series. So when someone raises their hand and they go back to animism or another religion, they're going to have to face family members. It teaches them how to evangelize, how to deal with marriage, death, all the things that they face in their culture. So that's one thing. Another thing is, when we are intentional, we start a church at every film showing. Well, you can't find a seminary-trained pastor for every church we start. So we find the village chief, and we give him what's called a proclaimer. It's like a large
MP3 player.
MP3 player. It looks like a large portable radio. Okay. It's got 4 power sources: plug, solar, crank, and battery. And he makes an announcement. Tomorrow night we're starting a listening group. Well, they come. They're not saturated like we are here in America. They come to the group. The groups multiply. They grow. And these proclaimers it's the New Testament dramatized. Last I heard, I don't have an exact number on this, but I have trouble keeping track of our numbers.
Yeah.
But 1,500 languages. So the church is planted on the pure Word of God.
Wonderful. That's exactly what it should be. And I was looking at your website earlier today and saw that that is really what you're all about, the authority of God's Word, which is also what the creation ministry is all about. Behind both of our ministries is the authority of God's Word, not letting man's word interfere or compromise God's Word.
Yes.
And so that's what's very impressive as well about this ministry that you're doing. Said that when I was looking on there, the Jesus Film Project will introduce Jesus to 5 billion people by 2025. That's only 4 years from now. What's happening?
Well, one of the really cool things that happened during COVID is all of a sudden the countries were begging for the Jesus film to be on TV. And for example, I just happened to have this TV broadcast report, and in 2019, 120 million people saw the Jesus film on TV in 58 countries, and then also on radio. And then in 2020, 327 million people saw the Jesus film in 154 countries, 22 TV stations. So that was actually God never wastes a hurt, right? And people were looking for things on TV, and a lot of these countries were closed countries. So we were just kind of blown away. I'd like to say one of them, but I better not, just in case.
Tell us what you mean by closed country.
Well, they could get in trouble for showing the Jesus film.
Or lose their life.
Or lose their life. You know, it's hostile nations to Christianity.
Yes.
And we were just thrilled that there were so many of those countries that requested the Jesus film. And our teams go out with these backpacks that include everything they need for a film showing. And we also have, and they can cover villages, and they see incredible results because they go to the villages, announce that there's going to be a film, and the whole village comes out because they've never seen a film in their language before.
Yes.
And we also have new light boxes, which is hotspot. And you go into an area, even like a coffee shop or just even into a airport or a village, and people's cell phone, which you'd be surprised how many people in third world countries have cell phones. They'll beep that they've got Wi-Fi, they've got internet. And when they turn on their phone, it'll show that there's a film about Jesus. Do you want to watch a film about Jesus in your language? And so they can download it and watch it. And you'd be surprised, one guy walked through the airport. When he came back, he had a hot spot on him. 27 people were watching the Jesus film.
Wow.
Yeah, so a lot of people are thrilled to have internet because they don't have internet like we do here. So that's a great tool also. And then tablets, we use tablets loaded with the Jesus film. And there's other products that we have. You can actually see all the products we have on Jesus Film app. Just go to your app store and type in Jesus Film, and you can install it free. And you can see all the different languages we have. You go to the map, and that's really fun because you see, you go by country, and each country has a list of the languages that's in that country.
Okay, so Jesus Film app, and then that'll come up on your phone and show you where all the different locations are that you've been to?
No, all the languages,
All the
for,
languages.
per country, and then also there's so many different films we have. We have conversation starters called short films, and we just came out with a new anime that's really nice. I would highly recommend 9-minute anime about chosen witness. So Mary Magdalene encounter with Jesus, and it's 9 minutes anime. So
Yes, and I saw on the website the 14 animated shorts. Is that right?
yeah, there's other animations as well. You know, with the Thief on the Cross and several other short
14-part
films.
video series that's been animated that was on the website.
Yep,
So you've got a lot of things going on, it looks like.
a lot of things. Yeah.
Okay, and then the Jesus Film mission trips, what's that?
Well, there wasn't very many in 2020, but they are starting them back up, and you can sign up to go. They have it all planned out for you, and you get to go see a Jesus film being shown in another country and see the reaction of the people. And it's very surprising. It's shocking how many people respond to the Jesus film.
It really is amazing, that kind of response that it's happening when they see this in their own language. And you have the people that show the film, what do they do then with that response?
Well, they lead them to a relationship. We establish a church, invite them to a listening group like we talked about. It's just an amazing thing. Can I share a couple of quotes here?
Sure.
This is from Billy Graham. One of the most powerful tools God has given us to proclaim the gospel today is the medium of film. Perhaps this film, Jesus, is one of the means God is using to hasten the day when every knee shall bow before our great King. And that's Billy Graham. Bruce Wilkinson, at an event, we heard him say this: the Jesus film has the tools, the strategies, and the partners. This is a blue chip stock. We love endorsements like that.
Wow, those are great endorsements.
And it costs a lot of money to fulfill the Great Commission, which is what we're all about. Here's a quote from Randy Alcorn: "The money God entrusts to us is eternal investment capital. Every day is an opportunity to buy up more shares in His kingdom." Wow. We're in development, so I want to give people a chance to know that an investment in the Jesus film, we reported for decades $1 a cost per soul salvation in the world, which isn't bad.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but with these 1,800 organizational partners, the cost has dropped to 83 cents. So $100 that used to fund 100 salvations now funds 120 salvations.
Amazing. That's really incredible. That the results are almost unbelievable. They're so incredible. And I can't commend you highly enough, because this is such important work in evangelism that no one else is doing it the way you're doing it. Okay, when people go to a remote village with these packs, tell us the details of how that's done and what power source they're using.
We have the pack includes a solar power strip.
Screen.
Yeah, a strip. You just put it out, so they can go in very remote places that don't have electricity, and it's all geared up for. It can run the projector for 3 hours, I believe, is what the.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they bring a screen as well?
And the screen is in the pack, and the projector, and the film.
Okay. And tell us how many languages you have again.
1,915.
Wow, that's amazing. And how many more still to go?
Well, of 50,000 speakers and above, we have about 300, and then we're doing single voice narrations with the smaller people groups.
That's a difficult question to answer, because we've heard the number of dialects in the world can be up around 7,000. And maybe someone's thinking, whoa, you got a long ways to go. In 2026, it'll be available to 97% of the world's population. Does it have to be in every last one before Jesus comes back? I point to Revelation 14:6, where an angel of heaven proclaimed the everlasting gospel to every tribe, nation, tongue, and people. I was sharing that with a partner one time. He says, oh, at some point the Lord's going to step in and say, good job, I'll take it from here.
Okay. And what's mission 865? I saw that on the website.
Yeah, that's the 865 languages were 50,000 speakers back probably 10.
5 years ago, maybe 7 years ago.
Yeah, I think it was more like 7 years ago. So that was our goal. We wanted to get these 50,000 speaker people groups languages done. So there was 865 languages to go. So we,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. And you've got Global Short Film Network as well. What's that?
Well, the short films are conversation starters. And so they're a great way to evangelize, and a lot of people use those.
Okay. Is that more for English speakers or is that for everyone?
No, they have them in a lot of different languages, and a lot of them are just pantomimes, so they're not necessarily have to be translated.
Okay. And how do people support this ministry?
Good question, David. Thank you. JesusFilm.org, or you can call our 800 line, which we're on the front lines on that, so you may get us if you call, and that is 800.
387-4040.
Yeah, and we'll
put
rings
that
in our home. So I took a call this morning. Early in the morning, Saturdays, Sundays, we work at home. The line's there, and so we're all in on this. This is
Yes.
God moving, and so
Okay, so you can go to the website or you can actually just call you,
yes.
right? To support this ministry and to keep this work going, which is so vitally important to so many people. And the response from the Jesus Film Project has been amazing. It's been worldwide. They're going to the most remote places and the most dangerous places out there to go to. And the results have been astronomical. If we had another few hours, we could tell you about the miracles that's been seen in this ministry, and there's been many of them. So I hope you'll support it. We're going to put this up on the screen, the contact information and the website. So go ahead and give them a call, go to the website, check it out, and support this ministry if you possibly can. You'll be doing God's work. Thank you for tuning in this edition, and I want to thank you, Mark and Melody Weaver, for being my guests today on the Creation Corner.
Thank you for having us.
God bless.